I'm John Bennett, past chairman of Leaseurope. I've been attending this event for several years now, and the background to this year is that the market does remain challenging throughout Europe. Volumes we've seen are down about 2.5% in the market in total. There is a divide between the north and the south of Europe, with the northern economies doing reasonably okay, and the southern economies remaining challenged. However, the mood of the conference is not at all downbeat. This year's event is a record attendance. There are almost 500 delegates here, very senior officials from the leasing industry throughout Europe, and there's a lot of positive information coming. So the future is not all bad by any means. The two key lessons I think I take away from this year's conference. Firstly, vendor finance will be a growing and important sector for what we do in the next 5 to 10 years. We had the benefit of a vendor panel yesterday with 4 guys coming from different market sectors. They all depend heavily on what we do, and there's no question that we can support the vendor business in the next few years. The second lesson that I take away, and it's a lesson that wasn't conveyed by anybody from our market, and that is that volume of business is not important. Quality of earnings is important. And that lesson was given not by a leasing expert, it was given by the chairman of Ferrari, who told us yesterday that Ferrari's strategy is to maintain the margins, the high margins on their cars, and to restrict the volume. An old lesson, but one that we can take to our market.
This is Artii Aurasmaa from Trieste IT. I had the pleasure to chair an innovation session this morning. We talked about innovative culture, and especially we talked about radical incremental innovation. We had a couple of examples of more incremental innovations, and then we had a couple of more radical innovations. One of the challenges we had when organizing the session was to try to find radical innovations within leasing markets, and to tell you the truth, it was not easy, and hence we had to go a bit outside, and the examples were financially related but not directly in the leasing zone. The good sign is that in the future group session that I was just watching, there were some radical ideas from the leasing perspective, so I feel confident that this industry will continue to be even more innovative going forward.
Hi, I'm Tony Mallin, Star Capital Partners. Some of you may remember me from the leasing industry some years ago. For the last 15 years I've been building a private equity business, but I've decided to get back into the leasing business. I'm back here in Rome to look out at the opportunities. With bank capital shrinking, availability of capital very difficult to access, I think there are some wonderful opportunities for the future. So I'm back.
Here to promote the business with Acquis Insurance, to meet lots of our existing customers and to get our brand out into the market. John?
Yeah, I mean, it's been very useful. We've met a lot of new people who are interested in the types of issues that we faced as an insurer on the regulatory basis, which are now coming into leasing as well. And it's very important for us also to be able to understand what issues our clients are facing.
My name is Mikhailov. I'm a Vice President for Business Development in a leasing company Europlan Russia, and I'm here on this convention for learning purposes first, because it's really interesting to understand what the CEOs of the biggest European leasing companies think about future, how they estimate the current status situation, and how they think about the new products. So for us, it's really learning about best practices and knowing about where the markets, mature markets, go and think of. And certainly sometimes say in the networking opportunities to the leaders of the leasing companies in Europe. Say a few words about Russia. Keep saying about 142 million people in the country, big fleets, big opportunities in terms of the car sales. Certainly we need more attention on our market. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chris Boobyer. I'm the senior partner for Invigors EMEA, which is the European arm of the Alta Group worldwide. Here at Lease Europe, what we've been talking about is the way that we are focusing on the future, how innovation can play a part, and we've been hearing about the investment required. For example, Ferrari invest nearly 18% of their revenue into innovation and new processes. We heard that the European Union, however, invests less than 2% of GDP. Now, looking at the Lease Europe stats for business performance, clearly there's a big correlation between GDP and leasing volume. And the problem we've got is the way GDP is looking, more of the same is not going to be enough to pull us out of this. We know leasing as a product is great for SMEs, it's great for investment, and it's great for capital growth and employment. We've just seen 3 new presentations from the Lease Europe Future Group, which is a group of 16 individuals we've brought together to think about new ideas, unconstrained thinking, not knowing what we can't do, more focused on what we should do. And the 3 presentations they've made have looked at an eco reward scheme for drivers of company car fleets to reward them for better performance. We've looked at a subscription-based model for the utilization of used equipment, either on lessors' own books or indeed through original equipment manufacturers. And we've looked at the way we could adopt the peer-to-peer lending principles, so rather than investors going into a platform that they've probably never heard of before, they can co-partner or cooperate with a leading European bank or asset finance brand. So we've seen the future, and frankly it looks pretty good.
I think that we had a great Lease Europe convention in Rome. The message and the positive thing that we got here was that leasing has a beautiful future. We are able to build up a future for this business that is creating growth and prosperity in Europe. I think that this is an extremely important message to take to all the levels in your own organizations and also outside of your organization, and convince our investors, our owners and our customers that this is a business you should work with. This is a business that is helping to take growth into Europe and have a much better future. And I think that we've also been able to integrate new people to the leasing industry. This is not just anymore the club of old guys. We are having much more new faces in these events, people who are willing to commit and who truly have a passion to build up this business into the future. I go out with the very positive feelings from this event, and I believe that many of us have much more energy to go forward.